When you got friends or family coming to town that you really, really like, you take them to the good Vegas spots. You know what I'm talking about. Whatever the opposite of Eminem's world is. So today on CityCast Las Vegas, we're talking with Coco Jenkins. She's the creator of the popular Instagram account Nothing to Do LV. She's spilling the beans on the best non-touristy spots in Las Vegas that your favorite out-of-towners will love. It's Wednesday, March 29th. I'm David Figler, and here's what Las Vegas is talking about. Coco Jenkins, welcome to CityCast Las Vegas.
Thank you so much for having me. I know we've been trying to lock this down for a while, so I'm glad we could find a way to align.
Yeah, it's nice to have you here on CityCast Las Vegas. And you're an expert guide through our weird and quirky little city. So first, Coco, what makes something a good non-touristy attraction in Vegas? How do locals define that?
To me, a good non-touristy local attraction in Vegas is something that's not part of what we call strip culture. So strip culture would be, gambling, clubbing, drinking, dancing, like heavy emphasis on that and like that only, with no necessarily like cultural meaning behind it, or, it's just like, to do the Vegas life, which is dope. But
Right.
as you know, we have so much other stuff going on here.
I totally feel you on that, right? It's like stuff that happens on the strip, the party all the time, the obvious stuff. Like we all don't think of that as non-touristy. Even though we might like some of that stuff, that's not our bucket for non-tourist.
Right, exactly. Right. That's that strip culture versus, Vegas culture.
And I think a lot of us then have kind of like our own secret non-touristy places. And
definitely.
Coco, I'm not going to ask you to spill your best secrets, but I kind of am. So whatever you're willing to share, when you have friends or family who come to town, what would be your number one go-to super special recommend that they cannot miss before they leave from our city?
Okay, you're right. My super non-touristy Coco recommendation are usually actually nature spots.
Oh.
They're usually nature spots in Vegas, and those, you're right, I will not give those away because to me you have to, you gotta know the person that you're sharing that with to know that they'll take care of and honor the land in the same way and not trash the place and not tear it up. So the nature spots.
I love
the nature
that.
spots are mouth to mouth. I'm only telling my friends.
Okay, you gotta pass the Coco smell test. Are you going to be a good steward? Are you going to be a good tourist? Or are you going to be one of those jerks who spray paints your name on the side of Magic Mountains, right?
Exactly. So nature spots I'll never really give away online. I might take a picture and post it, but I'm not telling you the name. But other spots.
Well, I could give you some scenarios, but if you if one that you're willing to spill, a good go-to that almost fits everybody.
Okay, my first go-to will always be the Pinball Hall of Fame.
Yes.
Classic. It's classic, but I know people still don't know about it. I haven't even been to the new one since it moved, but when it was at the old location, man, I was there every weekend trying to play this one game that you could, how some games you can save your account.
Yeah,
so I would go back there and I finally got to the end. But Pinball Hall of Fame is it's affordable, it's fun, it's all ages,
and the proceeds go to charity on top of that, so total bonus.
That's awesome. I didn't know that, actually.
Yeah, he donates so much money to Salvation Army. He makes these big checks all the time, and that has helped because it's all volunteer too. I mean, it's such a feel-good place. It's one of my, I'm going to just tell you, Coco, that's your number one. That is my special sacred place. I've been following Pinball Hall of Fame since it used to be in that dude, Tim Arnold's literal backyard. It used to be
No
at his
way.
house. He used to store all his pinball machines in a warehouse that he built behind his house that was like off of Annie Oakley over on the east side. And then he moved
Okay.
over to a spot on Tropicana. Then he moved down
Right.
another spot on Tropicana that you probably were at, and now the big
Right.
one. So, oh my God, so good.
That's some dope OG history.
One of these days, we're just going to go back and forth of our favorite pinball machines there. But let's go through a bunch of scenarios because I want to get to as many
Okay.
spots as possible. So, okay, here's scenario one for you, Coco. Let's say there's a family of 6. The parents want to keep their kids away from the casinos for the most part. What do you recommend for them for a non-touristy experience?
All right. Off the top, during the daytime, I'm actually going to send them downtown.
Uh-huh.
We have 2 cool spots, that are family friendly, which is Ferguson and Container Park.
Okay.
And a lot of times they have really cool programming just for kids too. And it's not basic for adults either. It's not like a kid-centric place, but it has enough stuff for kids where it's dope, interactive, artistic, creative. And that's where I would take some kids if I knew kids were coming to town.
Yeah, I mean, that was my understanding of the original concept of Container Park is that they got that really dope treehouse in the middle, but then the parents can be on the side drinking their wine or their cocktails on the other side.
Exactly.
So what else would you call family-friendly in Las Vegas?
Family-friendly in Las Vegas. I mean, obviously, it also depends on the kind of fam, but
some families are a little stranger than others.
Right. If you're with a strange family, there's also this spot called Cemetery Pulp, and they have all kinds of like morbid type things, like bats in a glass, and like stuff you would see in like a gothic type home, like bony hands, skeleton skulls, those kinds of things.
Yeah, it's kind of like a creepy little retail shop. I've seen that in my feed too, and I haven't been there yet, but it's definitely intriguing. And then there's like Nightmare Toy Store, which is downtown. I saw that. That looked kind of interesting.
Nightmare Cafe.
Yeah. And there's a little toy store next to it and stuff like that.
Also, like, it just depends on, your level with the kids. But one time, me and my date, we took his nieces to the Arts Factory and just walked around looking at the art, talking to different artists. That's something that I would do as an adult and, just make it fun for whatever kid I was with.
Okay, so the Arts Factory down in the Arts District, right off of Charleston. All right, Coco, I'm going to throw another one at you. This might be a little bit more close to home because this happens to me all the time. But a friend from college who just kind of rolls their eyes about Las Vegas and says it's too shallow or too kitschy, so they're kind of hating on it a little bit. Or worse, the friend who comes here who's like, I'm going to do Vegas ironically, and they like all dress up like nobody dresses up. You know what I'm saying? Like over the top, and they have like the visor and the loud shirt and the whole sunglasses inside and the whole stupid thing. So that person, if you want to give them a good non-touristy like redirection, where are you sending them?
So we just opened up, the Beverly Theater. That just opened up recently. You could take someone there for a more cultured time. If you're looking for something like a little more like subculture, like DIY style, also in the Arts District is Recycled Propaganda, which is a really cool art gallery. A lot of like anti-government, anti-societal structure type things. And it just has like a really dope vibe in there, like really punk rock, really like tagged up.
Subversive.
Yeah.
Subversive
yes.
art. Mm-hmm.
Definitely.
Subversive but commercial. That's kind of interesting, like line that they walk over there, Recycled Propaganda.
Yeah, and I would say subversive and submersive because you're like, you're literally like within the things, able to interact with all of the stuff and check it out like that.
Based on the true story that shocked the world. Critics are calling A Spy Among Friends on MGM Plus a thrilling new Cold War drama.
Treason. That's what I'm accusing you of.
With spellbinding performances.
I am not a traitor!
Starring Emmy Award winners Damian Lewis and Guy Pearce.
You're trying to get me killed. Give me one reason why not.
Are you lonesome?
A Spy Among Friends. Watch now, only on MGM+.
So you like sharing the culture a little bit too. And then, of course, if someone was going to Beverly, it's just a quick trip over to that really cool, unique independent bookstore, Writer's Block.
The Writer's Block. Oh, there's also another bookstore I love, which, do you know Hannibal Buress?
Oh, yeah, the comedian. Yes, I get him. So what about him?
Not too long ago, we threw a show for him. He's starting his new rapper career under the name of Eshu Tune. And we did a show for him recently, a couple months ago at the Usual Place, which is one of my favorite bars also. Mm-hmm. And we were just kicking it during the day, you know, kind of just passing time, getting content. And I brought him to my homegirl shop, Analog Dope, which is also a bookstore and record shop, very specifically focusing more on like Black culture and the African diaspora. So, you know, you got more of your like jazz, hip hop type records there, a lot of bell hooks, a lot of Saul Williams, those types of artists. And that's at Analog Dope, right next to...
It's over on Colorado and Casino Center.
That's exactly it. You know what's up, David.
Oh, yeah.
You know what's up.
I was just in there last week, and co-host Vogue Robinson and I went in there and went shopping.
Yeah.
So, yeah,
okay.
All good stuff. Well, that's really, really, really cool. So even though this mythical friend is a little jerky, you have shown that person an amazing day. How about like one nighttime thing to throw into the mix?
One nighttime thing. Okay, so you guys called me on here because I run this Instagram page called There's Nothing to Do in Vegas.
Uh-huh.
And every single day we post the events that are happening. So, like, I think of it kind of day by day. So, like, let's say they came out on a Monday night. Mondays are actually not cracking in Vegas.
Okay.
Every Monday they have punk rock karaoke at Berlin Bar.
Also down the Arts District. So, yeah.
Right.
I'm sensing the theme for this ironic friend. All right. So let's talk about an auntie or an uncle who you don't want to party with, Coco, but let's say they're looking for something that's a little more chill, a nice quiet outing. Where do you send auntie and uncle?
I would send them to the Dispensary Lounge on Trop and Eastern.
Ooh, that's a
secret. Have you ever been there?
I have spent many a night in front of the water wheel on the carpeted floors in that old school shopping center.
Plush carpet
listening
floor.
to amazing jazz.
Listening to amazing jazz, getting one of my favorite burgers in town.
Mm.
And they have these like deep fried mushrooms that are bomb. They make everything there fresh. And on certain days, they have some really amazing jazz musicians.
And that the furnishing in there is like a time warp to the 1980s, I will tell you. And it is quaint in that way.
It's definitely one of those secret strip mall spots. Like you be at the strip mall, you see the front, and then you go inside and boom, it's a whole vortex.
It's a whole thing. Right. And we should really clarify it because it is called the Dispensary and it has been so named for decades, but it is not a place where you go buy weed.
This is correct.
All right. I have some aunts and uncles who hate jazz. So if they didn't want to go to the Dispensary, which is down over on like Tropicana and Eastern, where are you going to send them?
Hate jazz.
Well, not just because they hate jazz. We'll just like say if we don't want to send them to the Dispensary, where's some other good spots for an auntie and uncle?
Okay. I just pulled up on a spot recently on Las Vegas Boulevard that I'd never been to before called the Old Havana Cuban Cigar Lounge.
Huh.
It's between Gas and Garces.
Okay, so downtown.
Yeah. And so you could be walking. I would probably walk by and miss it every time until I was looking for it the other day because one of my beautiful friends, Akasha, had a performance there.
Ooh. And
it's just like this tiny hole in the wall spot, but another like vortex vibe. You go in there and you're like, what is this place? It's like beautifully set up. And then, you know, you have them serving you the Cuban cigars. I'm not even into that. It's just a dope vibe.
Yeah. And that's kind of funny because it is near one of the most touristy in my opinion, places, which is Pawn Stars, is almost right across the street from that spot. So while auntie and uncle may do a touristy thing across the street, then afterwards, nice chill vibe over at the cigar bar, non-touristy. Nice.
Yeah, you could definitely be low-key right there for sure.
Now, I imagine quite a few visitors who come to Las Vegas do take a look at Nothing to Do LV on Instagram or wherever else to find something to do. So what are some of the gems not yet mentioned in Las Vegas that you'd like to see get way more attention? What have we left off the list that deserves the Coco Jenkins treatment?
Ooh. Okay, we all know about First Friday. At the end of First Friday, which ends like 10, 11-ish, okay? Yes, you could go to a bar. There's still plenty to do. But my favorite thing to do on First Friday is go to a bar called Ninja Karaoke, which is on First Street. Has this really beautiful mural, and they have a really beautiful patio. And on the patio, they host dance battles, all styles dance battles, where dancers of all genres can come and compete head-to-head for a cash prize. It's hosted by my partner, Art, who helps me run There's Nothing to Do in Vegas. So every First Friday, these like amazing high-level dancers compete. I'm talking about backflips. I'm talking about breaking. I'm talking about bone breaking, tutting, like waving, popping, locking, all the different styles. They come and they compete every First Friday. And this runs from 11 p.m. to 2 a.m., sometimes 3 a.m.
And while I stay away from First Friday just because I'm a downtowner, that literally is something that I would go check out later at night. So thank you for that.
Honestly, there was like a while where I would get First Friday anxiety. I totally understand.
I still live with that.
Because of like the life I set up for myself. Oh, Coco, you gotta capture all these moments. And
right.
I would take a nap until 10 p.m. and then all right, I guess I'll just go to the dance battles.
And there you go.
So I totally understand. And yeah, if you can take a nap on First Friday,
there you go.
Pull up at midnight.
Now you're talking my language. Yeah.
Pull up at midnight and you're going to be right in like the threshold of this amazing competition. That's free to attend, by the way.
All right. Last question, Coco. What is your favorite touristy thing to do as a local? So now we're going to just reverse that one.
Doug, I love going to the club. Find me at Dre's. Find me at any club that's spinning hip hop. I love going out, like dressing cute and just dancing. That's my favorite thing to do. And also I got to shout out the Bellagio Conservatory because it's always beautiful in there.
Yeah, and catch those fountains on the way out.
That's right.
Hey, Coco Jenkins, thank you so much for sharing all the secrets, and maybe next time we'll get you to spill those secret nature ones. But people need to go check out Nothing to Do LV for things that aren't on their radar. Coco Jenkins, thanks for joining us on CityCast Las Vegas.
1,000,000%. Thank you.
And now a microdose of news. So some new tourism numbers make today's show even more timely. Last month was the first February that Reed International saw more than 4 million visitors. That appears to be a significant increase over the previous February and the first February in history that we topped 4 million people. And homegrown headliners The Killers are one of the bands topping the newly announced lineup of September's Life is Beautiful Festival, brought to you by, checking notes, non-Las Vegas company Penske Media and Rolling Stone. Other big names include Kendrick Lamar, Odessa, and Nelly. All right. Luckily, there will also be plenty of seasoned Vegas performers such as Cirque du Soleil, Blue Man Group, and Piff the Magic Dragon. Last but not least, today is CityCast Las Vegas's first birthday. Catch us on the news roundup this Friday talking about our 1 year of podcasting and newslettering. That's all for today here on CityCast Las Vegas. If you loved this episode, send it to your favorite out-of-towner and maybe even your favorite local too. And hey, if you go check out any of these spots, post a pic and tag us at CityCast Vegas. Then rate the show, leave us a review, and subscribe to our morning newsletter. We'll be back tomorrow morning with more news from around the city. Take care. This is not going to make it into podcast, but I used to perform with Saul Williams back in my old slam poetry days. But that was the thing. And when he came to Vegas, he played a secret show at the Sahara of all places.
I was there.
I was there too, and I got to catch up with him. That was so awesome.